You may have heard, a little bird may have told you, that there are a number of folks in the civil service who are unqualified. They have a paper, but they never went to that institution. We could start political, but maybe we'll just wait a little bit before we get there. Two gentlemen join us for this conversation this morning. Dr. Namusasi Chinungo is a patron recognition of prior learning. Is here with us in the hot seat this morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Karibu sana. Shadrach Tonui is the chairman of the Kenya Association of Technical Training Institutions, here with us as well. Good morning.
Good morning.
Karibu sana.
Yes,
welcome to the Situation Room. Thank you for being here with us this morning. We're going to go into a number of things, but let's start off with today's proverb. Every week we go to a different African country, we come back with their proverbs, and then we ask you to then interpret those for us. This week we're in the island of the Comoro, otherwise known as Comoros, and the proverb goes this way for today. A chicken with beautiful plumage does not sit in a corner. A chicken with beautiful plumage does not sit in the corner. What would you make of that? We start with you, Dr. Chinungo.
Wow. You can't hide a nice thing.
It'll come out.
Yeah, it just come out. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. What about you, Mr. Tori?
Yes, thank you. Once you have that attribute that is very valuable, it can be seen. It cannot be hidden, and so it has to come to the public.
Yeah.
For everyone to embrace and for everyone to appreciate.
Yeah. Nice. Good. Hide it under a bushel.
Yep.
Essentially. Yeah, great interpretations. Today we're looking into skills matter. As in this case, skills actually do matter.
Yes.
Let's start from there, that before we then branch out. Dr. Chinungo, why do skills matter? People say, in fact, you do a certain job and somebody says, what's so difficult about that thing? All you need to do is go sit in that chair, sit behind the microphone and talk. Okay. Why do skills matter, first of all?
First of all, maybe let me correct something. I'm the patron to the Association of Pentecostal Vocational Training Institutions of Kenya.
Okay.
Not the patron of recognition of prayer learning.
Okay.
There is no patron of recognition of prayer learning in Kenya.
Maybe it's a prophecy, but
maybe
thank you for
it's a prophecy about me because I've been championing.
Yes.
Actually, I saw it the way you are saying.
Yeah.
I saw it prophetically because for the last 5 years, I've championed RPL in the church sector. So I'm the patron to the Association of Pentecostal Vocational Training Institutions of Kenya. I champion for RPL. Now back to the question.
Right.
You asked a very fundamental question. Skills. Skills is about productivity. Why skills are important? You cannot produce anything without skill. You may think that sitting behind that microphone, it's easy. No, it takes a lot of skill for you to do what you are doing even this morning. And for any economy to grow across the continents, you must have a skill. A skill is that which gives you the capacity to produce. Productivity, creativity depends on the capacity known as a skill. Yes.
Okay. And what about you, Wanatuni? Why is it necessary for us to then use skills in a particular position and not just assume that somebody can learn on the job? We say that all the time, isn't it? That, if I'm willing to learn, then I can actually do the job. Does that work?
Yeah, thank you. Indeed, actually, we understand that skills is a backbone for every country that aspires to develop. Because, in essence, skills provides room actually for engaging the skilled person into being productive and making the economy of the country also go well into the future. And so skilled persons play a very critical role when it comes to development. And so is the reason why we endeavor and we support the skilling of the individuals, we endeavor the skilling of persons, which also translates to awarding of a certificate to prove and to confirm that this person is skilled. Yes.
Okay.
So then, from what you're saying, it sounds that it is more important even to have structures and systems that will allow to define these skills to a certain level. You talk of certification, which would mean qualification, so that we can match you somewhere. In terms of now calling for recognition of our existing skills already and trying to match that with our existing education system. How is that conversation coming along when you're trying to match now what you've been championing for?
First of all, you need to understand it from the point of what I call pathways. The country has a legal framework.
Right.
The Kenya National Qualification Framework has given pathways to education. And unfortunately, in this country, people only know one pathway. But when we are discussing in this room today, borders on several pathways that have been provided by the Kenya National Qualification Framework,
Right.
but which many people are ignorant about. Because just as you raised it, you have a skill, but are you qualified? So there are people who acquire skills informally, non-formally,
Yes.
and formally. And all these are pathways to education. Formal, non-formal, and informal. And so we have a framework in which we want to qualify people who have taken all these pathways. So the issue of recognition becomes important. Those in the formal system have specific ways in which the skills are qualified.
Yes.
Because they're informal institutions. Whereas those in the non-formal and informal institutions are also acquiring skills. So they need to be recognized. So now we have a framework. We are saying you can learn online, you can learn under a master trainer, and then you can approach a formal center for recognition.
Can you learn? Okay. Can you learn a skill?
You acquire.
How do you acquire a skill?
You acquire skill through practice. You acquire skill through mentorship. You acquire skill by being instructed by somebody who has been practicing that skill, and with the help of what we call assistive devices. That's technology. Just like, let me use here media. You cannot read about media and tell me that one day you'll come. No, you must go to the real media lab.
Yeah.
And put on the headphones, see how the microphones work. With the time, you are going to acquire skills either of editing, graphic design, camera work, lighting. But you cannot just read books about camera work and lighting and tell me that one day.
You could try, but okay. So what's the difference then between a skill and a talent? What's the difference between a skill and a talent?
Yes. Is inborn. You asked a fundamental question. Hey, that brings us to talent-based education. Talents, each person is configured and wired from birth with a certain talents. These are endowments people are born with. But now through life, you acquire skills. Through practice, through training, mentorship. But the talents are inborn.
Okay.
Can I give you an example?
Please.
Good. Go to Eldoret. There are fellas there, in 2 hours they run and they make millions, which you can see in this studio. That's inborn. There are people here in Nairobi, naturally, they're endowed. They can just listen to your car and they tell you what's wrong with the engine.
That's a talent.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is an endowment that you can't get from a classroom.
Yeah.
And now you improve it by practice.
Well, Chairman, technical training.
Yes.
For a long time, and it's good that we have these conversations so that we're able to demystify the very common general wisdom, which sometimes is not very correct or accurate. For a long time, technical training has been a reserve of people who could not qualify to go for higher education. But then it turns out that these technically trained persons are the most technical people that we need in the society and the community for us to now hold on to the mainstream. He speaks of the studio, so you need engineers and all that. You need wiring, all that kind of stuff, just to mention. That has been there for a long time. But today, there seems to be an emphasis on the TVET. You see even now, persons who are supposed to be going to universities for the mainstream tertiary, they opt to go for TVET training. What is this new phenomenon? Because again, we also hear countries like Germany, wherever, what they did for them to spur the economy, as you said, is to tap into technical training. What is this new phenomenon, technical training?
Well, thank you so much. I think the new phenomenon is actually attributed to the reforms that are taking place in the technical space. For a long time, the education sector in our country has been tailored towards theoretical skills.
Right.
And this has really been an issue of concern to the industry players, that the skilled persons who are producing and churning to the industry are half-baked. And actually that has been in the reports of the Federation of Kenya Employees and the industry at large. Now, this thing has really caught the attention of the players in the sector to a point that where we are today, we are in a defining moment. We are in an era and we are in a moment actually where the sector is undergoing rapid reforms in terms of skilling of the youth. And so today we have the new curriculum that is competency-based, skills and practical oriented, which the industry really admire because they are part and parcel of the architects of this particular curriculum. Secondly, we are also at a time where we, apart from looking at the formal skilling of our youth, as outlined by my colleague here, we also do have the informal skills that have been acquired by individuals who are in the industry. And so there is a need to actually mainstream them. Because if we are to mainstream the formal education only, then what about those who have acquired the skills informally? Yet they are in the industry, they have the skill, and they are doing wonderful work outside there. So then, where we are, through the reforms that are taking place, we now have the Kenya National Qualification Authority, which has given a framework which came up with a policy on March 2024, which defines now how, for example, recognition of learning is supposed to be shaped into. And so today we are proud, we're happy that even the skilled person without a certificate can still get a certificate, while those who have got the skills through learning also can still continue and pursue through the particular pathways. And so there is a future, there is a space now that can be able to define how people are supposed to acquire their certification and get their skills in the right course.
Okay, that's interesting. This certification is usually at the level of, post-secondary, right?
Yes.
You've gone through secondary.
Yes.
But it's interesting because Kenya is now on the pathway, excuse me, towards ensuring that this education now that's being offered takes into consideration talent and skill and interest, and says, let's set you on this pathway that will essentially lead you towards that. Do we see that these things can work in tandem, Daktari, towards the place where you now say Kenya as a society can be satisfied that you have people getting into the work or certified space based on the talent, skill, and interest that they have?
That's very true. That's where we are right now. Actually, I want just to bring to your attention, there's a pathway that many Kenyans are not aware, where you don't need even a KCP certificate to start getting certification. All you need is a path certificate to be admitted to achieve it.
Which one is that?
The one of industrial training by NITA. Now, there's an industrial training act in this country,
Right.
which recognizes what she's talking about, talent. Yes, all you need to start certification is a path certificate or a national ID. If you are talented and you can start acquiring skills on the job or in a certain environment in the industry, you simply present it to NITA for assessment. NITA accredited center for assessment. What do you start with? You start with a birth certificate. You are certified at grade 3, say as a plumber or a graphic. Let me use what is applicable here. A graphic designer, grade 3. You are just gifted in graphic design. You don't need to go learning so many things that have nothing to do with the graphic design. So NITA will assess you at grade 3. You will get a formal certificate. You go to grade 2, grade 1. Grade 1 is now equivalent to the formal system of artisan. From grade 1, you go to MC, MC3, which is craft, MC2, diploma, MC1, which is equivalent to a degree, but specifically in graphic design. These are the pathways that have been opened up, and the populace is not aware. People are sitting at home with the children and saying, oh, this fella failed. No, these fellas are talented in... You see, there's a difference between general education and what I call job-specific skills. If somebody is talented in graphic design, why are you bothering that person with a lot of issues that have nothing to do with the graphic design?
But isn't that what the education system, the way it's currently set up, is supposed to fix? This is what we're being told. That, for example, in 2026, you have the first set of grade 10 learners who are then in the system whereby these particular talents and skills will then be identified for us to get to the place where we are. That government, education, stakeholders, parents, teachers, learners should be working in tandem so that you are delivering into society not just doers but thinkers towards the certification. Is that actually happening, Wanatuni? Would we see that happening? Or let me ask it differently. Are you satisfied that the cohort of grade 10s, for example, in the next 3 years,
yes,
will be the ones that we are tending to university and TVETs? And then 3 years after that, they're the same ones who will be into this job market where the skilled artisans and all of those people that you're looking for, professionals in their own right. Are we satisfied that those that we have fed into this system in January 2026, in the next 6 years, will yield the results?
Yeah, thank you so much. From where we sit in the TVET space, where we actually skill the youth of our country, the competencies and the SIDA curriculum is what we onboarded some years ago. And we are working with it, and we have seen actually the youths progressing through it with great success, and they come out of the skilling. Once they are through with the education, they go to the industry well satisfied with the skills. Now, when we see what's happening from the basic education, actually that's what we are waiting for, because we see them coming through the STEM pathways. There is that particular STEM pathway from the basic education, the junior, senior secondary, as they come to the TVET space and even to the higher education. And I find that whatever they do, because it is going to impact and to affect also what is going to take place in our space, we find that this is just but the foundation. The STEM pathway in the senior secondary is just but the foundation for them. Now, to understand and to align themselves to the skills, to the talents, to the understanding of what is awaiting them when they go to the further education. And so we here in the TVET space, we find that is just but the very basic beginning for this youth, actually. And what could be missing is the need for us now to be closer to them, so that we can be able to have that interactive understanding about the basics that they do have now to where they are landing when they come to the TVET space. Because we here, we expect them to come to level 3, to come level 4 as they progress up to the diploma level. From there now they shall be able to exit to the universities. And so I tend to think that the architects of this particular curriculum found it very noble to have that very basic foundation, which traditionally in the former system of education, they were very theoretical. There was a gap. But with the introduction of the STEM in the junior, senior secondary, now there is an alignment of this particular person who should not be wasted with theoretical skills, but they should be able to have a foundation of the technical skills. So they come, I think it will be very easy for us now to align with them. Previously, we have had a challenge because we could be able to come across a youth, a student who were coming from the secondary education system, which were theoretically based. And now for us to really even have that particular career guidance for them to understand whether they belong to agriculture or whether they can become electricians or whether they can be in the field of plumbing or even the field of ICT or hospitality, it was a hard nut to crack. But today, because of the reform that has taken place in the education sector, we can see that it will be more easier for us now to absorb them because they understand already where they are headed to. And I think to answer that question, I think the curriculum, the architects and the design itself now is leading us even to understanding and to focus on where other countries that have developed really have gone to. We can give an example of Australia, we can give an example of Canada, we can give an example of South Africa. Those are the countries really that have progressed so well because of aligning their curriculum to the realities of the era where we are in today.
we had a very rough start towards, and we're starting at grade 10 because we always say, we've been having a conversation earlier this morning and we talked about if you don't have the fundamentals right, this thing that you're looking to do later will be flawed. You can do whatever you want. You can wake up on a Wednesday morning, it'll be flawed. You can wake up next year, it'll be flawed. If your fundamentals are flawed, the outcome is flawed. So here we are on the other side of it. We're going into TVETs and we're going into the job market. And we have a foundation which, for all intents and purposes, at the beginning of this year looked like we weren't quite sure what was going on. It's like the horse that's born a really wobbly legs and you're not sure if this thing is going to be able to walk. And so that's what my question was then around what you're then going to be able to do in the future. You have learners today in grade 10 who... these pathways that you're talking about are still foreign territory, not sure exactly what's going on, maybe stumbling through the thing. How can you ensure that to achieve the things that Mr. Tunui so wants to achieve later, and the foundation, unfortunately, is where it is right now? It's not just your math and English. We're talking about pathways now. How can you fix that when you're already, halfway in the race?
Good. I like your question because if you get your fundamentals wrong, no matter how far you go, you'll be wrong. And at basic education, they have done a lot in terms of preparing them for competence-based education, that is acquiring skills. Now, what we need to do to ensure that the grade 10 learners, and this is very critical, and we are on air today, the people going to handle the students in senior school. Remember, in senior school there, we have pre-vocational. We have pre-vocational training, and we have free pathways. So the people going to handle these learners need to have the philosophy, the spirit behind CBET, not just earning a job. I'm repeating. The people going to handle those learners from grade 9, the ones you are talking about, they really need to have the spirit and the passion of the new phenomena we are talking about here. If we are to get the product we desire. So we need a lot of capacity building as an answer to what you're asking.
Yeah.
We need a lot of capacity building of the teachers at the senior school, the way it has been done so massively. So the TVET space, there's been a lot of capacity building of the trainers by the Kenya School of TVET, by CDAC, by TVETA, with support of Canada. Yeah, a lot of capacity building has been done for the trainers at the TVET space. You've asked a very fundamental question. I don't see it now at the senior school. You get the point?
Yeah.
We need massive, I'm saying massive, capacity building of the teachers at the senior school preparing these products for the next level. If we don't do it, apart from capacity building of the teachers, we need innovation in terms of what I call science kits. This used to be done at the Kenya Science some years back, and the Kenya Science, we had a program where innovative science kits were being developed to be used in school, because we need basic laboratories. Apart from the big laboratory, you will have schools that are in the far flank. So we need a lot of innovation and creativity in terms of pedagogy. If you get the pedagogy wrong, that's a fundamental. If you get the pedagogy wrong of preparing these fellas, you've lost it.
So if the fundamentals are not correct, we lose the plot. Now, as we talk about what is needed for the kids to now transition to TVET accordingly, it is paramount to note that we have children in school today. We have grade 10s today that the TVET will be expecting in a couple of years. And yet we are able to cite these massive gaps in terms of learning infrastructure. You know, we have the schools that are not adequately equipped. You have the personnel, as you say, the teachers. We keep hearing of retooling, but you know, it still has its own a lot that is not going correct. What is the danger now of the current population? Because sometimes we have our policies in projection that this is where we want to go as a country. But our education system is in continuum. We have not suspended learning to say, let us now install facilities and then we can resume 3 years later when we are ready. So what danger are we in now today, before we match the pre-qualified people? But in the current system, what danger are we in?
Thank you so much. I think first, to address the issue of the danger that we are in,
Right.
is the issue of that touches on the issue of resistance to change. Whenever a change is introduced, and I really want to take us back to the introduction of the 844 system.
Yes.
When it was introduced, there was also that kind of resistance. Now, coming to the 2663 curriculum also, in as much as it's very progressive, still it has got its own foundations being strengthened. And as it gets strengthened also, everybody has to be onboarded so that we can be able to embrace the beauty about this particular kind of curriculum. So I think, according to me, the danger is if we are prepared enough, then I think the foundation can be strengthened. As I said earlier, in the TVET space, we are as ready as yesterday to onboard the products of the senior secondary, and even also the junior secondary when they transit to level grade level 3, or senior secondary when they transit now to level 4. So in that aspect, then I think it is imperative that what is happening in the junior and senior secondary is supposed to be so firm, because if they lack that particular basic foundation, then I think the pre-TVET skills can now get a challenge as they progress to our space. And I think that is where the stakeholders and partners and industry players are supposed actually to get a clear understanding of what's happening. Otherwise, I think for us, we are well set. I don't know, maybe my colleague has got a different danger, but for my side, I
To
think
me, the danger
yes,
which you can't run away from.
Right.
The TVET space has done a lot. I don't know what the universities are doing. I'm imagining when the first graduate of CBC from the last grade is what, 12? Steps into our universities as currently configured. I think that's what she's asking.
Yeah.
If the first graduate of this system steps in the university and nothing has been done to reconfigure, reorganize our current universities as currently done, I cannot shy away from that. I have to tell the nation the truth.
Correct.
If there is a place that we really need reorganization, reconfiguration, as per the current, TVET have done a lot. He knows that.
that's true.
The TVET space has tried. There is no danger, I can assure you. But remember, you are talking of grade 9, eh?
Yes.
I want also to remind you that
grade 10.
Grade 10.
Yeah.
It's not a must you go to grade 10. There's a pathway there. You can go to senior school, or can you start from the basics of the TVET space at grade 3 years?
Level 3.
At level 3. You can opt out of the former system of 9, 10, 12 and decide to go to the other route. Yeah? But now, the danger you are saying, to me, the danger in this country right now, the conversation should be when the first CBE student steps on the campus.
Yes.
How prepared are our campus?
Exactly.
Are you getting the point?
Yes.
I can't shy away from that. That's a fact. That's a conversation. As educationists, we should be looking at how prepared, because we have facts. The TVET space, they have done a lot. In fact, they were ahead of Kenyan education is governed by 3 basic acts. By 3 acts. We have the Basic Education Act
yes.
that takes care of the basic education. We have the TVET Act. Then we have the Universities Act.
Yes.
So, in the basic space, as they were struggling with the CBC, the TVET space actually was ahead. Yeah, they was ahead, preparing for them. But when it comes now to the Universities Act, I don't know that framework. Yeah? How prepared they are. So to me, that's the only danger. Yeah.
And this could be what forms now the bigger challenge of you trying to advocate for recognition of prior learning. Because if the systems were well streamlined, perhaps they would even attract people to come in for grading and certification. But you realize today we have a lot of people who are artisans, who are practitioners in the juakali, and you know, for somebody who's been working at a garage, they're very good with panel beating or paint work, such that they would qualify to some level of grading. But the lack of confidence of the populace in our education system, as you're saying, we can clearly see there are gaps, makes them not to want now to follow your clarion call of coming and getting certified, which we know very well would sometimes in one or the other secure them better employment or better payment rates. Could that be the reason why? The lack of mainstreamed, not being very well structured?
No, I think in terms of structure for RPL, at level 3, level 4, level 5, level 6, we are done. We are so prepared.
In terms of policy?
Yes, in terms of policy,
Yes.
we have the qualification awarding institutions in place. We have assessment centers in place. We may have very little problems. For information, NEET has been doing RPL for the last 40 years.
Okay.
Yes, the last 40 years, NEET has been doing RPL in their own way. So, to me, at level 3, level 4, level 5, level 6, in terms of recognizing skills acquired outside the formal system, we have the basic structure there. And they have done it, even in his institution. They have had graduations. Last week, we were at the Muru to launch the first RPL within the church sector with the 400 applicants with the Ministry of Education. So within the TVET space, recognition of skills is not a big issue. It could be a big issue at maybe a university level.
And how is the uptake? Because I saw, like, I think KIST, they have a recognition project coming up. I don't know if you're aware. The technical institute in Kiambu. Yes. I think they have one coming up. But how is the uptake now from the people? Are they coming? Are they onboarding?
The uptake for RPL, I can tell you as a practitioner,
Right.
on the ground, not in the office. The uptake for RPL in this country is overwhelming. Yes, it's so high. Why? The people who drive this economy, unfortunately, are the people who have landed in the informal sector. In the informal sector. And there are so many. They need certification. For example, in your media space, there are people today learning AI. There are people learning graphics online. There are people learning what you call self-study, self-access. All they need is to walk into a recognized assessment center for assessment and certification. Look at the church sector. Let me go to where the church sector has so many pastors. Many who have learned on the job, learned in Bible colleges that are from outside the country, and they are not formally recognized. If you want to register a church at the Attorney General's office down here, they tell you, you must have a certificate from a recognized institution.
Right.
So, the uptake for RPL is overwhelming. This country, we had cut off so many people by only insisting that people must go through one formal pathway. But we have the other pathways, and the people are really coming out.
So if you have a situation whereby you have skills recognition and that you're able to then certify based on that recognition, you give people jobs, essentially.
Yes.
And you know that based on this skill, grade 3, grade 2, grade 1, this person can actually function in a particular place. And maybe this is not a university degree. This is a diploma in one way or another. Why then is there the insistence on a university degree where the pool has been reduced? You don't have enough space in Kenya's universities right now to educate everybody. You insist that certain people have a university education who, from what I'm understanding, could actually do better if you tested their skills in a TVET, for example. So it seems that people are working at cross purposes, Mr. Tonui.
Thank you. I think at some point the pyramid of education really got inverted, because we should be having more technicians, artisans than the degrees. And I think, and that's actually why today we can see more of the persons in the informal sector having the skills but without a certificate. They exited out of the system, they found themselves in the industry, and they acquired the skill. Now, what is lacking to them is the certificate. And by estimation, it is estimated that about 15 million Kenyans are in the informal sector without a certification, but they have quality skills. So, it drives me now to understand the perspective when you're talking about KIST. I believe you're talking about the Kiambu Institute, which is currently the Kiambu National Polytechnic. This is actually a qualification awarding body. And all the other national polytechnics in our country are now qualification awarding bodies. Besides that, them being able to award the certification, we have now the mainstream, the SIDAC, now which is in a position of awarding the certificate nationally. So where I sit, for example, I come from Kericho Township Technical and Vocational College. We have linked up with the Eldoret National Polytechnic for the purposes of awarding certificates to those who undergo the RPL. Besides that one, also we have some of them certified by the SIDAC. So the space is now attracting more of those skilled persons in the informal sector towards getting the certificate. And I'm agreeing in agreement with my colleague here because the space is now growing. The number is going up. And I want to give few examples. One is the butchers. The butchers in our country, if we may ask ourselves, have they gone to an education system? Not really. But at the end of this show, I'm very certain you are going through the butcher to take your meat there.
Butcher like nyama.
Yes, nyama.
Butcher,
Yes. So you can imagine. Do they have a certificate?
Do they need one?
Do they need?
They need. Yes. They're employed. These are the businesses that belong to individuals and entrepreneurs in this country. But the problem is they also require a certificate like another professional. So what happens is that there is a curriculum that has been set through RPL for them to acquire a certificate. We have certified practitioners who are now in place. They can be able to assess and certify them. And so they can be able to get a certificate. So you can imagine the demand in the industry is so huge that we require these 15 million people to get a certificate for the purposes of promotion, for the purpose of enhancing the standards, and also for ensuring that the industry is actually very vibrant. And so Kenya is one of the countries that are really reading from the need for actually reforming the sector and making it more vibrant, relevant, and actually driven by the needs of the sector. So that is where we are. And I think the future is now casting a confidence on how we do things, and I believe that is actually where you're supposed to be. I want also to give another example in Kericho Township. Do you know that the kind of the furniture that are in the Parliament building, it was done by the prisoners, the inmates.
Yes.
Now, it means they have got the skill. Kericho Township have considered, for example, partnering with the inmates, with our prisons department, so that we can be able to award the certificate, to assess them for the purpose of being awarded the certificates. And so today we are proud. Last week on Thursday, we had a graduation, and among them are 7 inmates who have demonstrated that they have the skills in welding, in carpentry, that can actually, once they are released back to the society, they can be able to go with their skills, and not only with their skills, but with a certificate. So you see, the demand is so huge that these skilled persons, unless we go for them, unless we actually brand the TVET sector well, unless actually we do capacity awareness, then we can be missing in awarding certificates to these people through SIDAC or the qualification awarding bodies. So there is a lot of demand.
Maybe perhaps of consideration in a side conversation.
Yes.
I like the motivational aspect of certifying the inmates.
Yes.
As they get released, they have certificates to match their skills.
Yes.
But if that inmate comes out into this world, this society of ours called Kenya,
yes,
and they're seeking a job, the first thing a government entity will do is to ask them for a good conduct, which they will not get.
Yes.
You know, so maybe as you advance that conversation to see how to best also, because correction facilities are meant to be reformative and rehabilitative. So if you have confirmed they have skills that they can work, perhaps consider also to empower them more, even as they go, so that they are more admissible into the job market. Just something to consider.
Yeah, thank you. Maybe as to counter that one, I think the essence of education, the essence of skilling is on two perspectives. The outcome should be for an individual to be employed by a prospective employer, of which probably the inmates may not get it so well because of their background history of the crime they committed. But on the other side also, they can be job creators. Imagine a carpenter coming out as an inmate who acquired a skill as a carpenter while he was in. Coming out, he can be able to open if supported with capital. And I like the churches. The churches really do well when it comes to that. Paul was a prisoner, but he did so well. So you see, when
Paul from the Bible.
So we should not condemn these people because skill is not condemnable. You cannot condemn a skill.
Right.
So when this person has a skill, then they can be in a position of actually becoming productive in the society. Imagine they can come out with a very well welding workshop in the town, a very nice carpentry workshop in the town, and any other thing that they can do because of the skill. They have learned the hard way. They found themselves behind the bars because of the crimes they've committed. But now when they're out, they shall be wonderful. And that is why we embrace and we want to encourage the churches to support us so that they can be certified, they can get a skill.
Should we be moving our thinking, Dr. away from education towards getting a job? Because what that does is that we are still creating doers as opposed to thinkers.
Wow. Again? Come again.
Should we be moving our thinking from that education is not just for you to get a job, but that education should be for you to enhance something that you have so you can fit anywhere?
Exactly. That is the conversation I would want you to allow us, every man. There's something you asked here, and I want to, as I answer this one, I touch on it. He talked about the pyramid. The pyramid of training for any country should be like this. At the bottom of the pyramid, you should have artisans, craftsmen. But there are people in this country, now the fundamentals you are talking about, went to Makerere some years back, and they came back and destroyed our pyramid of education, whereby we said everyone must go to university and become an executive. I have to speak it here. Because you asked about it. Where every parent in the home is only thinking about the one pathway provided. Primary, secondary, bachelor's. But we have other pathways. Primary, secondary, artisan, or primary, secondary, craft, primary, secondary, diploma. We have several pathways. So one thing, our parents need to be told the truth, that these fingers are not the same. Allow your kids to take the pathway of education by which they are even configured by God. Don't force things. Then our education should not be about getting jobs. Our education should not be about cramming the lecturer's notes and returning back the notes, the yellow notes. But should make you to become creative, innovative, productive in the society.
But we still have today, even in this grade 10, where we are talking about pathways, we still have teachers who are coming to class and they're writing a whole whiteboard of notes. Everybody has finished copying, then we erase, and then we start again. And then they're giving assignments to students, and then they're saying, in the textbook, the book has the notes. You are telling these learners, go and copy them into another book.
So that's a problem of pedagogy. If there is anything that the country needs to invest in, please, two words: pedagogy and andragogy. If this CB is to succeed, I'm making my voice to the nation. We have to, what you have just touched is called pedagogy and andragogy. We may have a good plan of education, but how are we teaching? How are we training? That is pedagogy and andragogy. If you get it wrong, those are the fundamentals she was talking about. If pedagogy and andragogy is wrong, pedagogy is for the young ones. For the adults, andragogy. If you get it wrong that in that area, the products will be they'll be wrong. And I'm saying that because you raise a fundamental issue. Why do we what is the philosophy of education in Kenya? That's the question you ask. Do we go to school to pass exams? Do we go to school because we want to become executives?
Good question. Good question. Now, earlier on you mentioned something very critical. that not everyone currently, according to our CBE system, needs to go to grade 10.
Yeah.
You can opt a different path.
Yes.
To your knowledge, is this common enough for parents to know that they have that choice?
That is where you have a problem. Schools need to organize workshops, seminars, to allow us to come and create awareness to the parents. You know, these schools have things called career guidance.
Yes.
We have things called guiding and counseling. I'm sorry to tell you, I went to a school and I presented the Kenya National Qualification Pathway. I was shocked. Even the principal of the school does not know about it. So I was asking, so what career guidance are you doing in this school? We have all these so-called motivational speakers on the loose all over who know nothing about the Kenya National Qualification. They're just motivational speakers getting some handouts from schools, motivating students to get A's.
So this
I have a problem with them, by the way, because I have a problem with this so-called motivational.
Okay.
You are motivating students to pass exams. It's not about passing exams. Can you show the students the career pathways that are available?
So this grade 9 would be admitted to a TVET? Or where do they go if they don't go for grade 10? Which institution can they in particular?
I've told you,
Yes.
we have the Industrial Training Act. And that is a pathway. If you opt out at any level, even at the junior secondary, there is something for you. But I'm telling you, many parents are not aware.
Are there enough institutions to accommodate that, to offer that path?
Yeah, probably also to support my colleague, if we can compare the former education system, the 844, the class 8, when they exit the system, they could come to the TVET space.
I see.
To do the artisan. So likewise, the grade 9s, they can still come to the space to do the same level 3.
Maybe allow me on air. In Kericho, go and find out that the county government. There is a CEC. You have heard of him? He's Dr. Who?
CEC
for building something, housing.
It was in Bomet County.
It was in Bomet
County.
Can you bring it out? Because this is a guy under the old system who opted out in class, not opted, circumstances.
Class 8,
Class 8. He went to a village polytechnic.
That is true.
He did an artisan. From there, he did craft. From there, he went and did diploma. From diploma, he joined the JQAT to do a bachelor's in building and construction.
So he's been able to raise, and we've seen examples that this can actually work. I mean, and I think the overthinking in the mind has to take, or rather, overturning in an overhaul has to take place in the mind first to see that these things are actually possible. Countries can actually work in tandem between their departments to ensure that these things happen. And it's necessary for us to have these conversations. Unfortunately, our time has come to an end this morning. Dr. Namusasi Chinungo, as well as Mr. Shadrach Tonui, thank you for being here with us this morning to look into some of these issues. It's critical that we talk about them until we see the thing moving. We have to talk about it. Thank you for joining us this morning. Asante Sana. We look forward to the next one. Thank you for everybody for making the Situation Room what it was this morning and for joining us in these conversations that are extremely important. Till tomorrow, we'll talk again. Thank you so much, Joe. Have a good day. Asante Sana. And we'll look forward to the next time. Good morning.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.